because I like I said, I have a 10-year-old. And so when he was 10 months old or even younger, because he went into the crib younger than that.
Yeah.
We didn't have a camera. We didn't have, the the rocker that's doing, the fancy bullshit, stuff and playing the music and attached to our Bluetooth phones and all of that. We didn't have any of that. He didn't have a light that we can control with an app from our phone. He had none of that.
Didn't need it.
And
he's fine.
Perfectly fine.
Perfectly. All the thing he's doing is just stressing you out.
It is at the end of the day.
You're not getting sleep.
I would agree with that.
You're tired. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Deep MCs, the podcast that seeks to push meaningful conversation to a whole new level. Whether it's for your entertainment or your personal growth, we appreciate you being here today. And now, on to the show. What is going on?
Bro, we are back in the studio.
Back in the studio, and we're going to keep this thing rolling. Rolling. You know what I realized? I got a fucked up accent.
What?
I got a fucked up accent. I know we're going a little off topic today, everybody.
It's not about
please.
off topic, but what?
So because look, I was thinking about this the other day. And
here we go.
You always got to start off with another. You always got to start off with a stupid ass story. I believe these stupid stories are why we don't have good podcast growth, because people probably like, this is a bunch of just rambling ass MFs, and they don't get that there's a concept here that I always start the show with a stupid ass story. Yeah, whatever. So if you're sticking around and you like the story, please like, comment, subscribe, enjoy, whatever. Anyway, my accent, growing up in California, people from California talk a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew, born and raised in California. I didn't think I had an accent, but I definitely feel like a lot of people thought I sound like I was from California.
Okay.
But then moving around, I picked up, I lived in Hawaii.
PCU, yeah.
I lived in Florida. PCU. I live in Texas. PCU. A little small stint in, Nevada and Vegas. And you pick up these little things. And then being raised by a mother who's from the South, there's little things that she still didn't get, right? And words that come out, like we were saying, we came to keep this thing rolling. Like, it sounds like I'm putting a D, like I'm saying Roland. Okay. Let's keep this thing rolling.
Okay.
But I don't know how to say it any other way. Or like my mom would always say "mer," so I say "mer."
What is that?
Mirror, like look in the mirror.
Oh.
Right? So like that's just how I learned to say it. I don't know how to say it any other way. So I'll be like, yeah, just go look in the mirror. The what? But that mirror is not a California
that's not
word.
That's a Southern, yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect that to come out of you, to be honest.
But people, because I don't really like, I say it a lot. Like if I say, I've always said "mer" all the time. Or
sounds like you're saying "mare," like a female animal.
Right? No, I'm talking about
the reflecting thing.
Reflecting thing, right? My mom would always say "wash."
Okay, you add an R.
I was able to clear it up.
Yes,
I can clear up the wash.
Okay,
but I can't clear up the mirror. It's just there. And rolling is one of them things that is another word. There's a lot of words. It's just weird. And
I got it. I have some too.
Like, what the fuck accent is this?
The crazy thing, man, is if I go back to Louisiana and if I'm there for a period of time, right, I'll pick up, like I'll just slide right back into it, right? Like you just, okay, I'm here, I'm home, Yeah. And everything just locks right back in.
And then people see like, what the fuck are you doing?
Have you been home? Because I'll come back to Texas. Have you been to Louisiana? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Anyway, that's all that I got for that. but now everybody's gonna be listening to see what the fuck I say. Listening.
Because you're actually you actually have a very kind of clean. It doesn't have a whole lot of up downs or slang in it. I mean, it's just kind of, it just seems pretty straight. And so for you to have that one, I was like, oh, what did you say?
You gotta take a look in the mirror, man. Oh yeah, I don't know, man. Accents are weird. I wish we can get a linguist on.
Okay,
that'd be nice.
All right,
just to talk about those types of things. Anyway, what are we getting into?
Man, I guess we go dig a little deep into my day to day, because I started to show off yawning a little bit.
A little bit.
A little
tired today.
A little tired today, man. And this,
but still pulled it together for the listeners.
What else we gonna do?
Hey,
we gotta suck it up.
You gotta make it work.
You know what I'm saying? So wherever you are in the world, just know that, we're doing this for you.
For them. We still have a growing population in Germany.
Awesome.
And Africa. It's interesting.
Okay. All right.
Growing.
We'll take it. Yeah. So, man, what we're talking about today, I have a pretty unique. Well, I don't know how unique it is, but it's unique to me, right? I have a pretty unique situation when it comes down to our kids. I have happily married. I have a 10-year-old, but then I also have a 10-month-old, right? And that dynamic, that crazy movement, we're balancing right now, or trying to balance right now. I don't know how successful we're being, but we're trying, right? And it's crazy because I was yawning because we just started this process of putting my 10-month-old into her bed. Okay. And so now she's gone out of our room. She's gone out of that place, and she's now in her crib. And, this technological age we're in, there's a camera that's over her crib. Right. And it watches her through the night. So if she's up, if she's crying, if she moves, if the sheet is over her head, if whatever it is, it's gonna do on our cell phones, and it's going to alert us in the room that something is happening in the crib. And so, we get alerts all night long, as if she was in the bed. Might
as well be at this damn point. But that's just so interesting to me. Obviously, not a parent.
Yep.
I grew up a little different than a lot of kids. I don't know. I think as kids grow up through the course of time, things have changed. And I don't necessarily know if it's for the better, right? Because like I was thinking about this situation as you're telling me about this this camera system that's there,
right?
And it bothers me a little bit that's where things are going and that's where things are heading, because like ultimately at the end of the day, right, whether it's your child, someone else's child, my child, whoever's child it is, like, you putting that baby in the crib, honestly, whatever happens is gonna fucking happen anyway. Mm-hmm. So the only thing that's happening is you're just getting less fucking sleep.
That dynamic is crazy because I like I said, I have a 10-year-old. And so when he was 10 months old or even younger, because he went into the crib younger than that.
Yeah.
We didn't have his camera. We didn't have, the the rocker that's doing, the fancy bullshit, stuff and playing the music and attached to our Bluetooth phones and all of that. We didn't have any of that. He didn't have a light that we can control with an app from our phone. He had none of that.
Didn't need it.
And
he's fine.
Perfectly fine.
Perfectly. Only thing he's doing is just stressing you out.
It is at the end of the day.
You're not getting sleep.
I would agree with that.
You're tired. You're not getting sleep, which is going to make you less alert, less aware, which could essentially make more accidents happen. Really,
right?
Because I mean,
nodding off at the light,
at the light, right? With your new baby, but don't worry, it'll be captured on camera, so
we'll be able to see it.
We'll be able to see why you're a bad
play
parent.
It back.
See why you're a bad parent,
and then it'll be posted on some type of social media site,
and then you're gonna get tore up. But on the backside of it, it will bring attention to the show.
Which may be what we need, right?
Which may be what we need. So maybe this is all the plan, the master plan. But I do think about that as a whole, and it is the amount of effort or lack thereof that's put into like a parenting situation, right? I'm not a parent, so here we go again. Mm-hmm. Who am I to give fucking advice to anybody that's listening out there? But I mean, you think about, like you said, like with your son, or even like when we were growing up or whatever, like all this shit didn't fucking exist. None of it fucking
and
existed.
None of it was necessary.
And you're gonna tell me you as a child or me as a child never had a blanket over our head, and you know what I'm saying?
And nobody knew it, right?
Yeah,
because you were all over the bed, which she is, right? She moves all over the bed all night. And then, eventually she's in that corner. She wakes up in that corner. I don't even listen to the app anymore. Like I turn the app off and I put it over there. And if I hear her cry, I wake up and I go get her. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, you know what, me and this app, I need to divorce the app because the app is on my nerves.
Yeah.
You know, because now I even find myself through the day because it'll alert if she's in the room or crying, it'll pick that up, right? So it'll almost pick her up crying in the living room, which is completely in the other part of the house. So if she's crying over there, the app it'll ding ding ding, your baby cried. It'll say that. And if I'm in the room, if they're in the room, I can see what's happening in there. And so, from a safety standpoint, if you had people that were taking care of your kid or other kind of stuff like that, and you just didn't trust them, okay, maybe I see that, as a maybe a necessary thing. But us, the way we're using it, man,
it's too much.
It is. It's a whole lot, dude.
You gotta sleep.
It's a whole lot.
You gotta sleep.
Gotta sleep. And the whole intent of moving her into her room was so that we could get back to some normalcy in our own bed.
I mean, isn't that the way that everything kind of goes though? Like, it just seems like you get all of this shit.
Life is like that at this point.
Yeah, and
we're doing it now, right?
Yeah.
When did we? Who invented, or who? Why is it necessary that we have a backup camera on our cars now?
I feel like I should know the answer to this because Americans are too fat to turn around and see what's back.
You had to, as part of your driving test, you had to turn around.
Yep.
Make sure there's nobody behind you.
Nope.
Look both ways.
Yep.
And back into that spot.
And back that thing right up on in there. In California, you had to parallel park.
I had to parallel park in small Alexandria, Louisiana. I had to parallel park, right?
See?
Had to parallel park, had to stop at the stop sign. I didn't have any do. You're going to none of that.
None of that. Watch this, hands free. Back in and park and shit.
Hit the button, get out of the car, hit the button, and it puts it in the parking spot.
That's what I don't understand. And this is why, this is a good topic. Because, I mean, just technology as a whole in general. Because speaking of that, with your technology that you have on your car, whatever car you're driving, backup alarm, this, that, and the other, backup camera, do you feel you get into your spot any faster?
No.
You don't feel, right? So you're paying for this. Like, you have this camera for your child now. You're clearly not getting more sleep because of it.
We're not getting more sleep. All we're able to do is really just keep an eye on her at all times, right? Like and you find yourself, like I find myself sometimes, because I was like, I'm moving away from that, but I would find myself almost glued to the phone, right? Because she would be moving around the bed, and I'm just gonna make sure she's okay, right? Well, with my son, I never saw it. Right,
he done
until he cried
out and fell, right, and climbed back in and fell again.
Until he cried, I wouldn't know anything was happening in that room, right? And so, unless I went in and peeked at him or whatever,
yeah.
But he's moving around, he's doing whatever he's doing. Man, she has the ocean playing at night, has a night light, throughout the whole, because the night light can glow. We can control it with the app, and we can raise and lower the music. And I'm like, all we're doing is creating situations that are forcing her to kind of not soothe herself, but creating these crutches that are, she has to have this now to go to sleep, or she has to have that now to go to sleep. Well,
Yeah.
I remember I probably was just dropped in the crib and just was like, okay,
There you go. You're on your own.
You crying? Okay, we'll be back.
You'll figure
And
it out.
eventually you lay down and take a nap, right?
Cry it out. And I guess that's the question too that I have, or maybe people can answer for us, because I do wonder, and I think about, even when I talk in the past about growing up or doing this or doing that, or how things were raised, like you said, like you're providing these crutches, right? But then the thing is, well, what are you going to do about it, right? And what is the effect of that on the child? Like so many people write like, oh, I'm gonna write these child development books, I'm gonna write this, I'm gonna write that, and there's a lot from childhood up to, I don't know, whatever age, teenage or late teens, whatever, where everything that you do in life is part of that forming of who you are, right? And I think about it, especially as I get older, like the way that I grew up is even today still reflected into who I am and how I go about things, right?
Yep.
I can talk to people, excuse me, and they tell me, oh yeah, well when I was growing up, this is how it was, this is how the house was. And then when they tell me that, I'm like, oh, that's why you are the way you are. I can see, like it makes sense.
The evidence is in your adult life.
I didn't see it until you
I
gave
see
me
it.
but now that you said it, oh shit, yeah,
I got it.
I see why you are. And I wonder, not just like, with your child, but everybody that's raising all these children, what are we thinking about? Are we thinking about that future? Are we thinking about, okay, 10 years, 20 years from now, right? Like, what is that?
I think a lot of, the way we're moving as a society is creating codependency on so many things, right? Where I think we were a lot more independent. I was able to walk to school, to do these other kind of things. I was able to ride my bike, come home. I was a latchkey kid, had my key, boom, went in the house, closed the door, started my homework, made my bologna sandwich and my honey bun. That's why I was a chunky boy, because I was coming home and I had my snack and was there until my parents showed up, right? And today I don't know that I would even consider that. And maybe it's just because of how, like, you look out there and you see about kids getting picked up, right? And you see, those other kind of things. But that was one of the different things that I think made that easy, is that we were a community, And so where I grew up, I would walk home with a couple other kids, right? That I had gone from elementary all the way up to high school with, same kids. I played football with these kids, And so we, as a group, would take care of each other. Right, I would know their parents, so I would leave that house. We would walk by them. Okay, boom, you're going home. Yeah. I'll be here in 10 minutes. Boom, everybody's where they need to be. And you would pick up the house phone, and you would, Mom, I'm home. Boom, put it down, right? And so, I think to a certain extent, I think we've taken a lot of that independence and some of that growth away because we've become so interdependent on some of this other stuff.
Yeah. Well, so couple cues for as I say, couple cues for you here. But you said a lot of things, and I do have some questions. So first question before I get into it, what grade were you when you started walking home?
So I was still in elementary because the elementary school was in the neighborhood. So that had to be, and it was 1st through 5th grade. So what is that? Up to 10? So somewhere maybe 9, 10.
See, even then, that's weird, man. That's because I remember, like, I was walking home to school before that.
Well, it was too far.
Yeah,
like it was okay for me to do at 9 or 10, but it was probably, it's probably a little too far for me to do that.
Ours was pretty far. Now I think about, I don't know, but that's the thing too. And I think about it is just weird because I remember I was looking at maps. We were pulling up maps, and I was like, I remember how far away I'd be from home. And like at what age and time, right? I'm like, God damn, I was across the entire city.
But like but hold on, to go play, so school was one thing, but to get on the bike and go play and hang out in the neighborhood or ride your bike to somebody else's house, gone.
No, we'd be I'm talking miles,
Yeah.
miles and
Right.
miles and miles
Right.
away.
Right.
Nowhere, and no cell phone, no smartphone,
No cell phone, no quarter to even put in the payphone.
Track a kid, none of that. but I think about those things, and you said like, you know, you wouldn't think about those things now, but I question, and this is, I guess, kind of when I think about how it is, man. I mean, kids disappearing today, dude. Kids have been disappearing.
I got you.
Long before we were
right.
But I think that there's a fear now, especially and I don't know where that comes from, right? Like, you have kids, we're similar in age, and you say, well, I don't think I would do that now. And maybe if I had kids, I might say the same thing. I don't know. But the thing about it is why do we feel that way? Because we grew up, we didn't get snatched up.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, everybody that's our age is like, I would never let, there's people getting snatched up all the time. We never got snatched up. If you didn't get snatched up, I didn't get snatched up. You didn't get snatched up. You didn't get snatched. Okay, well, who's getting snatched up? Because how many kids do you know in your neighborhood that got snatched up and never seen again?
No.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right? Like, yeah, kids disappear, but I think that we created this situation that we're in, because they're like, oh no, there's always been shit out there. So why not let you? I don't know. I think we're raising a bunch of bitches,
to be honest,
which is just
my son is asking, you know, and I've considered it. He's asking. He's like, Dad, I want to walk home, and you know, I've walked with him a couple times just to make sure I understand the route, that we've done this and done that.
Yeah.
And he wants to walk home. Right now, it just doesn't make sense because I'm picking him up, and then we're always going somewhere else, right? So I would have to wait for him to get home. So we're always on the move, but I'm considering letting him walk home because the school is close enough for him to be able to do that. And he's mature enough, I think, at this point for me to be able to trust him with, you know, doing what he needs to do.
Is this interesting? I don't know, because I remember, like, when I was a kid, it sounds bad. Look, my mom wasn't a bad parent. Fuck y'all. But I remember, like, there'd be times where, like, I would get off the bus, and the bus would drop us at a 7-Eleven gas station.
Okay.
There wasn't nobody, like, you just drop some fucking kids off. Like, there's nobody there to pick the kids up.
That wasn't your bus stop?
No, there's the bus stop.
Oh,
the bus stop was at the 7-Eleven.
Okay.
But nobody would pick the kids
Got
up.
it.
And then you would just walk
to
wherever.
your house.
So from my house to the bus station at the 7-Eleven at this time, it was
the school bus?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Was every bit of almost 2 miles.
Okay.
And it was along a highway. So you.
Oh man, you walking on I-10?
And I'm telling you, I was little. Like, at that time, I was probably grade. Because I was probably grade 4.
No.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was probably grade 4. And I would get off the bus, but
you know what? They would have picked you up today. CPS would be at the door.
Would have been. And look, I had this thing where, like, I would just, you know, you're a kid and you're playing around. Like, I used to, in California, they do a better job in California than they do here because the roads fucking suck in Texas. By putting the reflectors on the roads, right? Because Texas, you don't really have, like, it's so spread out. But like in California, there'll be like a shit ton of reflectors so that you can see the line. When it rains and everything. Here, it fucking rains, you can't even see we got reflective paint. You can't see that shit when it's dark and it's raining. Anyway, but like those would get knocked loose. Okay. And I would like to pick them up.
So that was your pastime.
So like I would be like, run out.
You'll go in the street and get them? Oh man, come on, dude.
And bring them back. And ironically, flash forward into high school, when I was in some mischief and borrowed a car. Okay. This was the same road that I was racing on and wrecked the car. Okay. But the moral is that anybody could be flying down this road anytime. Yeah. And I'm just wandering out, picking up screws and shit, and fucking just whatever else.
That's how you made it home.
Yeah, all the way home.
Right.
You know, and like, yeah, granted, you can't do that now.
Because the crazy thing is, man, it was me and my son. We were in the truck and we were going somewhere, and he was still in the car seat, which means he was whatever that is, 3, 4, 5, maybe, in the car seat, and we were driving down the street, headed somewhere, and I literally saw another kid his age walking by himself through the grass, and I stopped because I was like, this is not, something's not right about this. And the thing that clicked is I was like, what if that was mine, right? I can't imagine my son at that age walking at that age. And so I stopped, I picked him up, you know, and I took him he told me where he was going. He said his mama didn't show up at school, you know, so he was walking to the church, which he knew where that church was. He was at least 4 or 5 miles from home. He was booking it. And he knew where he was going. I was just like, well, let me help you get there. So I just picked him up and I took him to the church, and the pastor and everybody was there, and they knew the kid, and they, you know, then they contacted the mom. But I was just like, you know, I'm like, something's off about that. Let me pick him up and get him over there.
Yeah, but look, but that's part of the problem though too, right? Because
man, it was just something.
You could have been one of them creepers.
Could have,
right?
And that's really why I picked him up.
But he was fine. Look,
he was actually. He wasn't crying. He wasn't doing any of that. Right? And he trusted me enough to get in the car.
Well, but that's the real problem.
That was the real problem was that he was out there.
No.
Yeah.
Look, man, you give these kids their independence.
Man, I was just like, no, man, no. Because I was like, if I pass him up and I leave this kid out here, and I see something on the news or on a milk carton, I'm gonna have a problem.
Not your problem. He ain't nobody's problem at that point,
man.
But look, you gotta let him breathe. You gotta let. But
he had breathed for 3.5 miles at that point, so he was good. He had learned his lesson.
Has a little water bottle.
Yeah, he knew what it was doing. I was like, come on, little man.
Which means it's not the first time that.
It might not have been, because he knew exactly where he was headed.
Really, you in his way right now.
I almost messed up his whole little gig, huh?
You never know. He might have had a little side hustle.
But he was comfortable. He was comfortable because AJ, my son, was in the back, right? And so he jumped in and they were talking. Now he had a little buddy, right?
Damn. See me, I liked it. I liked being able to strike out on my own and just head out.
As an adult, I'm cool with that. But
no, as a kid,
as a 4-year-old, I was like,
no,
man.
Oh, that was the best times. It was the best times because you're free.
Yeah.
You're out there in the world, and I would see the cars.
In 1985,
speeding. What's the difference now? 1985.
There's a whole lot of difference.
2025. The only difference is you got better technology that don't let you get no sleep. That's the only difference. We need to get back. If we would have got back to, because that's the thing, we don't communicate. Like, so many people that don't even talk to their neighbors.
Yeah, right.
Don't even know that. Like, we got away from that. Why? Because we assume that everybody is a bad person. Everybody is a.
You know what? I tried to make it a point because, like I said, I grew up in a kind of rural area. Not where I grew up, but where my dad grew up was completely country. So you knew everybody. The whole family was on the same road. They had their little house or whatever. Yeah. And then when my dad knew his neighbors and still know the neighbors, right? My mom still knows, because basically they are the same people that were always there, right? Yeah. So she knows those neighbors. And so I try to make it a point of when we move to, to build some relationships. And so I know I know my 4 neighbors that are around us, right?
Right.
And so we speak, we communicate, and like one day, because there's benefits in it. Right, we had our fence between one of my neighbors was starting to come down. I didn't even know it. I don't go in the backyard that much, And he actually he jumped my fence, set the thing back up, put some concrete on the post. It
was good.
And was good, right? And he told me the other day, he was like, "Hey man, I fixed the fence." I said, "We should be good for another 6 years." I said, "Cool, appreciate it."
She said, "What the fuck you doing in my backyard, motherfucker?"
But I mean, we were, because we had a relationship. He was cool. Yeah. The AJ throws his ball over the fence. He can go get it because you built relationship with the neighbors.
Yeah, which is good, and that's a lot of people don't even do that, especially as you spend that much time. Like I think, man, yeah, can't say that I know a lot about
your neighbors.
My neighbors, they might be. Over
some neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, I know some neighbors.
Kinda.
right. I don't know, right, left, right. I know across the street, left. I know a couple, but I don't interact with them on a regular basis.
Yeah, I got you.
I definitely don't. But I think that is something that should be getting back to. I don't know. I just think there needs to be some freedoms. There needs to be some, I don't know. But again, like that's for me, part of like what makes me me. Like I'm not afraid to try something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid to go out and do something. I'm not afraid to whatever. And that's the thing about like, people say, oh man, I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done that. Oh, how do you do that? Like, or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
I just fucking do it.
Yeah.
But maybe I did it because my mom didn't treat me like a little bitch. And she let me walk down the highway. Picking up fucking road reflectors.
Bro, I mean,
you know, but
was she working?
yeah.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, so that it was necessary for you to be able to do that.
it was exactly to make it happen. It's not like she just was,
Yeah, she just didn't abandon you.
drunk or something.
Right.
It was like, this is the plan. I have to work. There ain't nobody else there.
This is what you need to do. Yep.
And you walk down this road.
Yeah.
And don't go the other way. And sometimes I'll go the other way because it's more fun. Whatever. And you just do it. But that freedom allowed me to be.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't mind a good adventure at this point.
I don't want people to be. I don't want to be scared. There's some people that are scared to do because they never were allowed to do or allowed to.
Always monitored at some point, right?
Yeah,
And so
like,
I get that,
Get
right?
out there and break a finger or a leg or something. I don't know.
And that's one of the things too is, man, I've tried to balance experiences. You know what I'm saying, and not hold too tight because I used to run barefoot in the country, right? And I've had a nail come up through my foot,
Through
right?
your foot.
All the way, it came out the top of my foot.
It's good for
And
it.
so,
Character.
I had to literally pull my foot off the board, right? And go in the house. They poured some peroxide in the hole or some other crap.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
And I was hobbling, but I was back outside. They was like, okay, bye.
Yep.
Get back outside.
Get your ass back out there.
And so,
Get your ass back out there.
But those were those experiences, man, that I would never, that I do treasure. And so I try to create that. I try to create that balance for my son.
You got to. You don't want their whole experience to be on the iPad.
And that's really a monster, right?
What are they going to talk about in the future? What did you do? I played on my iPad.
Play with an iPad
in the
today.
living room.
I watch SpongeBob on the iPad.
On the iPad. Look, if you are a child and you have,
but adults are like that now, though. It's not just the kids.
Yeah, but that's the problem. That's the problem.
You sit in front of a video game all day long.
Yep.
With no interaction.
Zero interaction. Go out there and get a nail in your foot. Right?
Yeah, step on some glass. Cut by a piece of glass or something.
Yeah, step on some glass. Not on purpose. Okay, let's clear that up.
Right.
Not on purpose.
We're not talking about self-mutilation.
Yes,
that's not what we're doing.
Go out there and get some glass, man.
Right.
I mean,
climb a tree.
Life.
Who can climb a tree?
Well,
did you climb trees?
I did climb trees.
I climbed trees.
I did climb trees.
That's a lost art.
Yeah.
Climbing trees is a lost art.
That's
because how many kids are actually outside?
Zero.
And then how many of us are in neighborhoods where the trees are big enough for you to climb?
To get up to and then fall. I mean, now granted there's some bad, and that's why my knees are bad now. Because you climb up and then you jump out.
And you jump out, yeah.
Land straight down. Yeah, no, it's not good. But
I've jumped off the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Multiple times. You got to jump off the roof of the house.
I had this these are good because I can let my son reign a little bit, right? Because it's in him to do it. I liked building tents, tents in the house, right? Yeah. So you get all of the chairs, you build the tents. But then I also like building like assembly lines. So I took a line from the house and I went to the tree, and then I went from the tree, we had another tree, to that tree, and then from that tree back to the house. Yeah. And so I'm trying to create, okay, how do I take this bucket and I go from here to here, and I pull it, and I had to climb up on the house to do that, and then I jumped off the house, and then I would pull the string to the tree, climb up in the tree because it had like these berries, put stuff in the bucket,
Yeah.
Because then that was my assembly line, right? Then I had to bring it. So I mean, it created problem solving. It created some ingenuity, some creativity. That's probably why it's crazy today. Imagination.
And you're not hurt. But now you tell somebody they can't do it because they might hang themselves with the rope, and they might eat a poison berry, and they might do like.
Right. You're right. You are exactly right.
Look, let them breathe.
Let them breathe.
Yeah. That's good.
That's good, man.
Leave right there.
All right, cool.
Let them breathe.
All right.
What's going on, guys? Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We appreciate you listening for sure. But we need your help.
Yeah, we need your help. We need you to like, comment, and subscribe so that we can continue to make great content for you guys.
Yeah. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe.